Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is an ordained minister several times over. He is an ordained Christian minister, an ordained non-denominational New Thought minister, and an ordained interfaith minister through 4 different seminaries. And of course, he is a Centers for Spiritual Living ordained minister and has served as the spiritual director of CSL Greater Baltimore for the past 4.5 years. He is a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and transfiguration. And he has frequently been referred to as a modern day Renaissance man and visionary New Thought leader who makes complex metaphysical concepts readily understandable and applicable. His mission is to live, move, and be an active member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, and emancipate people and communities to awaken and empower themselves. ACTIVE is an acronym that stands for authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered. And he continues to live his bliss as a teacher, minister, author, workshop and seminar facilitator, visual artist, ASL interpreter, and ASL performing artist, mentor, father, grandfather, and more. I give you Reverend Dr. Ray.
Did you say more or did you say cha cha cha? She's up there laughing again. Hello and welcome, CSL Greater Baltimore. This is our final service of the year, the season of light, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, the Yule, the winter solstice. And today we are specifically looking beyond the general idea of the Christian nativity scene. If you were here for the pre-service meditation, then you sort of got a glimpse into where I'm referring in terms of every single one of us has a nativity scene that is our lives. That time and space in life where we came into greater awareness, greater self-care, greater healing, and greater illumination. This idea, this symbolism of the nativity calls us into deeper and greater availability and potentiality as we lean into and live more into being a loving expression of what it means to be source, showing up as community, what it means to show up to and with and for one another, recognizing not only our own individual gifts and talents, but that of everyone else in the community, where we are celebrating the glorious, the joyous expression of each individualized expression of God as it shows up as the luminosity of life itself, as me, as you, as each one of us. Breathe. Nativity 2.0. So normally when you think of, or, someone talks about the nativity, this is the general image, one way or another. You know, you drive past the courthouse, there's a nativity scene. You drive past the church, there's a nativity scene. You drive past your neighbor's house, there's a nativity scene. And generally, we get the idea that the nativity, you know, this idea that this is when the Christ was born. And oftentimes we think about it only as the Christ in the body of Jesus Christ. Very rarely do we recognize that this is also a metaphysical representation of the light of Christ showing up in, through, and as each, oh, wait, pause now, showing up in, through, and as, back up there, in, through, and as each and every one of us. It's all there is, and it's everywhere present, right here and right now. So when you think of the nativity, don't place, quote unquote, the Christ on a pedestal, but rather embody it and recognize that it is right where you are. Are you living from that awareness? Ernest Holmes says, the universal I am and the individual I are one in peace, joy, love, wisdom, beauty, and power. The universal I am, the absolute, the universal I am, and the individual that I am, and this applies to you, one and the same. So if God, remember Ernest Holmes said, whatever is true of God is true of you. So the universal I am, God, and the individual I am, which must also be God, because it's all there is, clearly must be one in peace. If God is peace, then I must be it too. So must you. If God is joy, then I must, you must. Love, I, you. Wisdom, God, I, you. Beauty, like you follow. Whatever is true of God must be true of each one of us. Do you see yourself as peace? Do you see yourself as beauty, as wisdom? Not just as something that you have, something that you possess, but something that you are. You are a divine expression of beauty. Not beauty the way some magazine would airbrush and Photoshop beauty, but you are truly that which is beauty itself, incarnating itself, breathing itself, living itself. Are you able to embrace that and embody that, to live from that? That's our invitation. You are light. But how do you live it? How do you live this truth that you are life, you are light, you are love, you are wisdom, you are joy, you are all of that, you are it. But how do you live it? How do you lean into the truth of your being? No one can tell you how to do that, because each one of us, as an individualized expression, we have to figure out, well, what is my unique, for example, if I were to tell Jesse to Madonna, we'll say, excuse me, Jesse, what I need you to do is, can you sing more like Madonna? To which Jesse gives me the look. Do I look like Madonna? I'm Jesse. Listen here, listen. You don't get to ask me to try to replicate and be like some. There is only one of me. There is only one of me. And this divine, magnificent expression of me has its own unique and powerful voice. How dare you try to squelch or diminish me and my power by telling me to be like somebody else? You need to go somewhere with that. Meow, 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 meow. Mic drop. How do you live it? Not how does the Dalai Lama live it, not how does the Michael Bernard Beckwith live it, not how Reverend Ray lives it. How do you live as the light, the love, and the life-affirming nature of spirit? How do you live it? That's the question. That's the invitation. Stepping deeper into what it means for you to live it. Tung Pin Lu says, first awaken on your own, then see someone else. Like you have to first love yourself, then you can love someone else. First, put the oxygen mask on yourself, then you can help someone else by putting the oxygen mask on them. First, awaken, first, shine, first, know and understand your own divinity. Then it is far easier to see someone else's. Are you doing the work to do that? Because if we're so focused on, I don't like you, I don't like them, I don't like you, I don't like them. Who's them? Who are they that you don't like? Them. You know, those people. Those, whatever that is. I don't like them. Which is valid. There are certain things in there you don't have to like. I don't like smoking. I don't like that. Tracy said, nope. But am I able to love the person who is smoking? Am I still able to love the individual, even when the individual is behaving in a certain way? Am I able to see through all of that to the truth of their being? Now, that does not mean that they're not going to be held accountable. That doesn't mean any of that. But the reason this slide is here, the reason this concept is here, is because we get so attached to our dislike of someone that it prevents us from truly loving ourselves and truly expressing what it means to love another. Because our need to be right, our need to be vindicated, overrides our need, our desire to live in truth, to live as truth. So ask yourself, am I so attached to my dislike for someone or something that it is preventing me from accurately, actively, consciously seeing the divine that they are? Namaste, as Renuka would say. Namaste, as Ray would say. Namaskar, as Tracy would say. Are you able to truly anchor and ground in the consciousness of Namaste? Which, if we look at several different translations that people have used, I honor the place in you where the entire universe dwells. Do you not understand that it's difficult to honor the place in someone where the entire universe dwells if I am attached to the I don't like you? I bow to the place in you that is love, light, and joy. It's real difficult to bow to that place in the person but I don't like you. Look, listen. I ain't trying to bow when I don't like you. It is difficult to recognize someone else's true soul when my soul, my consciousness is like, soul, get behind me for a second. I don't like that. I know you want to give them a hug and all, but I don't like them. So I can't let you do this whole namaste thing because I don't like them. Because the ego wants to protect us. I got that. Personality wants to defend us. I got that. Or wants to be self-righteous. I understand all that. And however, we have a spiritual practice that says there is a way through that to get to the truth, where we can say, I honor the place in you that is the same as me. I honor, I recognize, I see, I understand that there is that thing of you, the one mind. There is that thing of you, the one life. that is the same mind and life that I am. And that sees itself, that recognizes itself. And my dislike for you is not going to prevent that from being recognized or honored. Now, I still may not like the fact that, you put mushrooms and pineapple on my salad or my pizza or my tacos. I may not like that, and that's fine. It's a preference. But let us not let our dislike for something or someone prevent us from living into our divinity more actively. Michael Bernard Beckwith says, "It is only when we realize our oneness with Source that we can wholly, completely appreciate the magic of creation's diversity, kaleidoscope, diversity. It's only when we realize our oneness with that we can truly, completely appreciate how God shows up in, through, and as everything, the diversity of all. Are we willing to truly realize, to step into, to embody this oneness in order to appreciate that which we don't like, to appreciate those, not the thing, not the behavior, to appreciate the people, the individual, the individualized expression of this oneness? Are we willing to do the work to go there? Are we willing to be so audacious and unapologetic in our native power, the power of our nativity, the truth of our being, that wherever we go, wherever we stand, we become this contagious force that awakens the illuminated power, the luminosity in others as they stand around us? That when we walk into a room, the consciousness that we have vibrates off. We don't even have to open our mouths. We don't have to say a word. Our presence shines. And that contagion, click to another, boop, bounce to it, boop. And it's reflecting through everyone we come in contact with. That's how we create a world that works for all. Breathe. You thought this Christmas service was going to be have a holly jolly Christmas. It's no, we're going to end this year with the same invitation to actively engage the spiritual principles that we know. That's the only way we're going to manifest a world that works for all. Stepping in, stepping up, elevating our consciousness. No more spiritual codependency, no more spiritual people pleasing, no more playing small. It's not about that. The nativity, Star of Bethlehem, wasn't like, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Star of Bethlehem was like, boom, I'm here. Look at me. Don't matter wherever you see me. And people were like, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright. Like everybody was seeing the star. That's how you're supposed to shine. Grace Lee Boggs says, we are beginning to understand that the world is always being made fresh and never finished. That activism can be the journey rather than the arrival. That struggle doesn't always have to be confrontation, but can take the form of reaching out to find common ground with the many others in our society who are also seeking ways out from alienation, isolation, privatization, and dehumanization. That all of these things that are occurring by corporate globalization, there is a way to navigate, to heal all of this stuff, to deconstruct it, for us to truly make this new world afresh. Each thought, make it anew. Each interaction, make it anew. Each prayer, make it anew. A world that works for all, make it anew. Because the moment we stop and settle like, whoo, I don't never have to brush my teeth again. Then the teeth, they rot. Whoo, I ain't never gotta wash my clothes again. No one wants to be around you. I don't ever have, follow the concept. It is a work that is ongoing to stay fresh, always renewing, open at the top, always evolving, open at the top, always, always, always remembering, aligning, and reconnecting with the truth of our being. Always. Good old Uncle Ernest Holmes says, each of us should seek that beam of light within and follow it to the great light. That light that is in everything. It is everything. It's not just in it, but it is everything. We must acquiesce to it, surrender to it, and surrender all that has made us unhappy. Let it go. All that has isolated us from this light, let it go. Beliefs, relationships, consciousness, whatever it is that is making us play small, whatever it is that is making us believe that we need to remain the best kept secret, whatever that is, let it go. Only then can we fully, only then can God fully, only then can God fully pronounce itself through us and in us and as us, personalizing itself. That's the only time when we surrender to the light. Surrender to the light of your being. You familiar with the Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens? Well, let's specifically, I want to focus on one key aspect regarding, Jacob Marley, because Jacob Marley makes a comment and says, mankind was my business, right? And he goes on to say some stuff. But the key thing I want us to point out is in this analysis from an English teacher, they point out Charles Dickens was a Christian, but he often rejected the accepted Christian beliefs of what organized churches told their followers. One of these was that we could repent of our sins in life and simply ascend to heaven. Charles Dickens was like, no. He believed that our actions, that making the right, quote unquote, life affirming choices in life was more important than simply asking for forgiveness when we knew we had missed the mark or made a mistake. Action. Faith without works. Action. You will know them by their fruits. Action. Treat and move your feet. Action. It is our actions. See, Jacob Marley became that ghost with yards and yards of chains because he had the opportunity to change his actions to that which was more life affirming, that which was more equitable and compassionate. And he chose to remain in actions that were not that were stingy and greedy, that were abusive. And those had repercussions. There were consequences. What are we going to choose today? What are we going to choose today? Did you hear me? What are we going to choose? So Christmas, Christmas, we think of Christmas presents. And many of us, we would love to have more Christmas presents. But I want to challenge us to think not about this concept, but I want us to really dive into what it really, really means to have more. Well, let's look at it this way. We have the word Christmas, and I want to separate it to Christ Más, the Spanish word for more, right? More Christmas, more Christ. So when we are being in this consciousness of what it means to be more Christ, then we understand more Christ presence. So yes, we can have more Christmas presence, but it's only if it's more Christ presence. Breathe. Because our invitation is to really get anchored into what that means as a practice, not as a theory. Holmes says, the problem is we engage in far too much theory and not enough practice. In 1962, in the Science of Mind magazine, it was written, to carry peace, love, and givingness to everyone is the meaning of Christmas. It is the meaning of more Christ presence. To carry peace, love, and givingness, to carry it to everyone in the same way that the three wise men carried gifts. Are you carrying the gift of peace? Are you carrying the gift of love? Are you gifting it and giving it to everyone? That is the meaning of Christmas. So here's this Ernest Holmes quote, and I'm going to do a Reverend Ray remix in a moment. But he says, Christ means the universality of sonship embodied in any individual who recognizes this sonship. Get rid of the gender specificity of it having to be a son, and Reverend Ray's remix. Christ means the universality of divinely inherited authority. Pause and take that in. That is your nativity. This divinely inherited authority embodied in any individual who recognizes this divinely inherited authority. Do you recognize that you have inherited this authority because you are an individualized expression of divinity itself? Do you speak with this authority? Do you move through life with this authority? Are you willing to? Holmes also says, Christ is universal idea, and each one puts on the Christ to the degree that they surrender a limited sense of life to the divine realization of wholeness and unity with good and unity with spirit and unity with God. Surrender this limited sense of whatever, limitation, scarcity, lack. Surrender that and step into this divine realization of your wholeness and your unity with source, with spirit, with God. And not just with it, but as it. Embody that which is the Christ. Now, I want us to pause for a second and think about that. Because it really doesn't matter, because I know that word may not work for everyone. So it doesn't matter what you call it, Christ, Buddha, any of these words. Call it what you will. The essence of it is the same. It is the truth of your being, the light of your being, your divinity. Embrace it and live from that divinity. Live as that divinity into your life. Breathe. Woo, this is our last homework assignment of 2022. As we move into this, journal, jot some notes, whatever you do, whatever works for you. What I want you to do is, using this chart that you're going to see in a second, identify to what degree you are living your gifts. To what degree are you expressing your gifts? In this chart of living everyday wonder, I want you to really, you need an example? Okay, this. Highlight in there, to what degree do you play? Do you play all out, or is it like not that very far? At your work, do you gift into your work, or is it like, yeah, no, I do the bare minimum? To what degree are you living into your time, talent, treasure? To what degree are you letting your light shine wherever you go? Wherever you go, your emotions, are you letting your light shine? Community, are you letting your light shine? Home, there's no line at all. Like, to what degree are you letting this show up in the world? Because our invitation is to go all out, to shine, to illuminate everywhere we go, however we go, to let it be fully present. Are you willing to do that work? So, as always, if you need a copy of the chart, you need a copy of the slides, send Tracy an email or send me an email, and we will make sure you get the slides and you make sure you get the chart so you can actually do this. Number 2, what gifts are you committed to bringing more of to the world in this coming year? What gifts are you willing to give the world in 2023? Now, referencing back to that other slide, what is your preferred word? Christ, Buddha, whatever the word is. Now, reflect back to that chart and ask yourself, in what ways does the Christ, Buddha, Atman, CBA, in what ways does this divinity show up, this consciousness of the Christ, of the Buddha, show up in this area of my life? When I go to work, how much of the Christ is showing up at my job, my work, my employment? When I show up in community, is the I don't like you showing up more than the Buddha consciousness? Which one? How far along that line, which one is showing up? And how can you be more consistent to increase the frequency of this lived experience? And lastly, have a conversation with 33 people. Oh, it's only 3. Have a conversation with 3 people about what is one action step you will take that you want those 3 people to hold you accountable for in the month of January. Pause on that. You are going to ask these 3 people to hold you accountable to some action step that you are going to engage in that would begin to allow you the opportunity to set up the CBA as a habituated pattern of living your life. What is an action step that you can take to be more Christ, more Buddha? And you're asking these 3 people to watch you and remind you, Ray, remember that one action you said you were going to take? Oh, that's right. I did say that, didn't I? Yeah, you did. So what's up? I'm going to refresh right now. Nativity 3.0 right now. Okay, I'm still watching. Cool. Keep on watching. It's the whole month of January. I got you. And we're still in, it's January 2nd. We got a long way to go. Thank you for holding me accountable. That's part of what community is. That's why we can only truly heal in community. We need one another because it's God. We need God acting upon itself as our friends and family and community to remind us of our divinity, to remind us of our nativity, our divine nature. Today's affirmation, our declaration, if this resonates with you, I will say it first, and then on the second go round, declare it with me. I am grateful for the gifts and blessings that are ours to share with the world. Together, I am grateful for the gifts and blessings that are ours to share with the world. Breathe. Speaking of gratitude, gifts, and blessings, I am and forever will be honored to have served this beloved community, to have gotten to know all of you. I am grateful for each and every one of you. For those of you who weren't at the holiday party, you missed all kinds of fun. To this entire community, to all of you, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. And blessings to you all.